Hey guys, this is Team Path to Heaven member Joseph coming home from his YCS. I went 5-4, unfortunately, with Frog Monarchs. I just want to go over my deck profile. Since the last video I uploaded, the quality was sort of, you can barely hear me. And I want more time to go over some of my deck choices, even though it's a pretty standard build. So I'm going to go over the monster first. I play 25, play 2 Light and Darkness Dragon. I mean, you kind of have to run 2. I find that running 3 is a little bit too cloggy. And, you know, just indicate spell, trap, monster effects. You have to waste a lot of resources to get over this card. You know, I won a couple rounds, games with this, just this on the field, or this hits the field and they go crazy minus, just trying to remove it, and allows me, like, if they send it to the graveyard, I can special summon like a Jinzo, or, you know, just a big beater or a swap frog to like mill my deck a little more for frog engines. It's just an overall great card. Running 2 is awesome. So run 3 Caius, because you need to get monsters off the field. If they're dark, they burn 1,000. You know, he's just like the standard Monarch, and like you're gonna see him running 3s. You know, that removal for Exceeds. You know, Stardust. It gets rid of problem cards really easily. So 2 of him, 3. I run only 2 Ryzas. I was testing with 3, even at a point I even only tested with 1 or none at all. But he just kept finding his way back into my deck. You know, I typically sided him out game 1. In game 2 I'd side him out into like other cards, or like if I kept him in certain situations. But you know, he's good at bouncing a problem card. You know, puts it back to the top of the opponent's deck, allows me to control their draw power, keep the field presence. You know, just puts a really lot of pressure on them. They have to, you know, try to play around this, or they have to waste a resource on this, and allows me to get some on bigger plays off. But yeah, you know, he's pretty good at 2. I wouldn't personally run him at 3. It's just not my thing. Though if you do, hell, all the power to you. I run 1 Vanity's Fiend. This is just an amazing card. Main deck it because, you know, it just stops a lot of plays with like water, you know, Sams. You know, no special summons for either player. It just messes with a lot of the meta that we see. And, you know, 2400, you know, it's not that crazy, but if you can't special summon to beat over this, and you're just going to have a bad day if you don't have the options to protect. And 1 Jinzo for traps. You know, just because there's a lot of trap heavy decks there. There was a lot of Vers. There was a lot of Dino Fist. It was just a crazy amount. I didn't personally play a lot of water, which was the matchup I wanted to play against, but Jinzo, you know, it won me so many games. This would hit the field, and I literally stopped my opponents dead in their tracks. Now for my frog engine, I run 3 swap frogs. You know, mill my deck. You know, get Treeborns to the grave, bounce back. You know, do it again and again. You know, put it in defense, special summon it in defense mode, and tribute a Monarch. Use their effect attack, then bounce it back. You know, they have a big monster on the field or whatever. Any plays I need to do with this card, it's really stupid. Bounce back lads if they're dead, resummon them later. It's just, this card is just absolutely amazing. It needs to be ran at 3. There's no reason why you shouldn't be running it at 3. I run 3 Treeborn Frogs. I run 3 for consistency, and because I run 2 Slacker Magicians in the side deck, it's just easy to make 2 Treeborns. It's a Slacker, and then I still have a live Treeborn. I'll have a live Treeborn in the graveyard to special summon for tributes. I ran it at 2. I only run 1 Rodent Tonin, so again, it helps add consistency to the deck. It's just, I can't see it being ran in anything else other than 3 now that it's unlimited. It's just, I don't play dupes. I don't play more than 1 Ronin. I don't play poison draws, whatever. For my hand traps, I play 3 Battle Fader. This is just a good card overall. Stops, you know, any attack and ends battle phase if you take a direct attack. Even if they attack over with like Watts, it's just, this card is just sexy, and it can win games. You can Battle Fader, Treeborn into Slacker, and then just have like a nice wall set up for the turn. I run 2 Effect Veiler because, you know, I need to stop monster effects from going off a lot of the times. It's just, why not? I main deck 2 Maxi. 2 is fine, 3 is a little too much. A lot of times, you know, in my matches, I would Maxi and draw into another Maxi, and then a couple other cards if they kept going off. so I didn't see the point of running more than two in the main. But it's just a great card. Lavels was a matchup. You can plus off that. Wind-ups is an issue. A big issue for my kind of deck. So, running it at 2 just allows me to plus. And one Trag and one Gores. They just stop OTKs. I don't run 2 Trag because I only run 40 cards in my main deck. And I don't want to run any more than 40 cards because I'm afraid of ruining consistency. But I always draw into Trag, and I always draw into Gores most of the time. So I feel rather safe and with just these 2 going off. So those are my monsters. I run 25. I run, go over my spells real fast. I run 3 Soul Exchange. This is just a win card right here. Especially game 1. A lot of people, they didn't know what you were playing against until, they saw Treeborn in the grave, and then, shit. And then you just play around with their monsters, Tribute Shock Master if it's on the field, and set Dark Dust, stuff like that. This is just such a win condition card, and it sucks that you can't attack with it, but I guess it would be way too broken if you could. I run 3 Enemy Controller. This is just another amazing card. Broken Plays and Standby Phase. Treeborn, Chain, or Treeborn, let them get the response. A lot of times, my Treeborn was in the process of being compulsed, and I would just chain an Econ, make them waste a compulse, and then take a monster from their side and just use it as my own for that turn. Just, this card is just so broken. I hope they don't hit it. Triple MST, because I hate back row. And, this card is just so good in 3s. Macros, Fiendish Chains, I need to get my effects off. I need to get monsters off the field. I need board control, and 3 MSTs help me achieve that. So, there we go. I run the Trinity, Heavy, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn. Obvious reasons. Don't need to really go into detail. Foolish Burial, send Treeborns to the grave. And my last card is Pot of Duality. I only run it in 1. I was running it in 2, and I can't tell you the amount of times I consistently drew Pot of Dualities in 2s. And it sounds good at first until you realize that, shit, I need to special my Treeborn, I need to get off, this deck needs to be fast. Running 2 Duality kind of slows the pace of the deck, unless I pray to gosh I draw into Soul Exchange. But other than that, I see 1 is being pretty good. I usually sided it out game 2. Just to play around with, and it worked pretty good for a while. And the one trap I run is a Treacherous Trap Hole in the main. It's just, set Treeborn, set this, and another card for bait or whatever, and this consistently got off at least 75% of the time. Other percent of the time, my opponent drew to double MST heavy, and they would just hit this. Even in game 2, they kept their MSTs in, which I'm really surprised. So that's my main deck. It's exactly 40. Going to my extra deck here. Running for my synchros, Formula Synchron. It's really good too. If I have a Veiler in hand and a Treeborn Frog on the field, I can formula for a +1 or whatever if I'm really desperate. But other than that, synchro on my opponent's turn to get over things like compulse or whatever, and I have so many other options with this card. Use their monsters for synchro materials. 1 Cataster. I got it out once during YCS, and it's just a great card. It beats all non-darks. Obviously no Cataster does. Black Rose to bottom of the field. Crimson Blader for water matchups. Beat over lead. Now you can't special summon your Megalos next turn or whatever you're gonna do. Any other crazy summoning match, 6 Sams, you name it, this card just is complete MVP in that situation. It's very hard for a lot of players to play around. Mirror matches, this card was good. Just beat over a Treeborn. Now you can't even tribute summon your monsters. It's just broken. And 1 Scrap Dragon. Broken Plays with Treeborn Frog. Just keep popping cards on the field, attacking for 28. Safety. 2 Slacker Magician. This card is just absolutely amazing. So many people don't see it coming. Now it's seeing more popularity, obviously, with Frog Monarchs topping more YCSs and, notoriety going up. 2 level 1, once per turn, cannot be destroyed by battle, conditioned effect. And, you know, if she's targeted, you can detach a material from this card to negate and destroy. I was playing wind-ups, seeing my opponent try to compulse it originally, and I detached and negate it, and then he summoned Photon Pappy, tried to turn it into attack mode, and he lost his Pappy, obviously. So this card is just, it's so good. 2100 defense, not easy to get around for a lot of, like, opening plays. 1 Daigusto Phoenix for rank 2s. It really helps, you know, target Ryza, and you can do really super damage, or if, you know, your opponent's at low life, but you can't really get a Monarch out, you can go swap, remove a Frog, special, you know, Ronin Tonin, make this an attack for 3000. He's just really good. 2 Gachis. You know, typically you always see 2 Gachis with each other now. It just helps boost monsters, allows Light and Darkness Dragon to have like an extra negate, which is always good to have an extra negate, so. 1 Swordbreaker. I didn't really see him. I didn't really have the option to really use him that effectively because it was always a better choice. Might take him out for something else, but, you know, in the meantime, he's 2700, and, you know, Catastrophe Effect. You know, I can pretty much just control the field if my opponent is playing like a singular type, like Warriors and stuff. 1 M7. I made this guy like a bunch. You know, just overlay, you know, a rank 6 that I took from them with Econ or like my rank 6s, and then cycle back, you know, Monarchs for 1-for-1s. It was just so good. I would totally run this in like nearly all my decks if I can make it. 1 Exabeetle, move monsters, and, you know, Seeds. Strike Bouncer, because, you know, this card actually did win me a game against Insectors. I had this on the field game 1, and he just could not use his effect. Like, he was playing really, you know, just didn't have the hand to go off with. So I just kept negating and he kept burning for 1000 until I attacked for game. And my Gaia Charger, because, you know, if you're running rank 6s, you know, Exabeetle's dead after you use his pop. Why not, you know, overlay and attack for piercings. So that's my extra deck. And now onto the side. Run 2 spell. Well, it's not a spell canceller. That isn't even one either. 2 spell cancellers. This card, so good. I played it in my Lava match, and he just could not activate his spells. He couldn't go off. And you just, I mean, damn. Jinzo for spells, you know. 1800 attacks, sucky. Can beat over by Thunder King, Gene Warp Werewolf, etc., etc. But, you know, that option to negate effects, I really put it in there for Prophecy matches. I'll leave it in here for the next format, probably. It's just such an underrated card. Doesn't see enough play, and I'm looking forward to bringing him, you know, back. 2 Consecrated Lights for playing against Evil Swarms and Insectors, you know, any other like crazy dark heavy decks. I didn't really get a chance to side it, so through my testing with it, it seemed pretty cool. You know, protected with Econs, protected with Treacherous, you know, etc., etc. It helps me control the board in those matches. Just an overall great card. I expect to see more play out of it. You know, your opponent can't normal or special summon darks, so it helps kill the deck. Another Jinzo for, you know, trap heavy decks. I want to draw into Jinzo more. I was playing a Thunder Family deck, and it just helped me win game. 2 Fossil Dinos, because special summoning decks like Sam's and Mermails are problems, and I need an easy card that can help stop special summons. Vanity Fiend is great, but, you know, you have to tribute it to get it out, and a lot of the times they can have the answer to it. So a set Fossil Dino really just helps, you know, control the board, really just helps draw it out and stops their plays, or, you know, clears the field. It's just such a good card, really versatile. Normal summon it if I'm pushing for game, and stop hand traps. 1 Dark Dust for Swarms. You know, Soul Exchanger monsters, set it, normal summon it, whatever you need to do. Dark Dust is all like Dark Hole on steroids, and goes back to my hand. So I would love him. I wouldn't. I tried main decking him, but I just feel he's not much better in the side. 2 End of Anubis for Mermails, and, you know, any other deck that really graveyard dependent like Dark Worlds. Just really good, shuts down the graveyard, and in a lot of decks like that, it's a game winner. It kills them. 2 Dust Tornadoes, you know, for Fire Fist or any other trap heavy decks, and I need to like get rid of back rows like really fast. Does sometimes conflict with Treacherous. Usually I'll side him out and I'll put these in. But other than that, like, I really like this card. It's really proven its worth in my matches. 2 Soul Takers. You know, remove monsters, make Chaos Pulsar, make Light Pulsar miss timing, and 1 burial from different dimensions. Use this once, but it's just a really good card. Helps recycle dead Treeborns that are banished during standby to help, you know, you push for game, control the board, you know, but just make sure your deck isn't completely dead. So yeah, that was about it. Like, again, I went 5-4. What was it? Saturday. And, you know, but I had a lot of fun. There was a lot of skillful matches. I met a lot of cool people. I'm looking forward to trying it again. This is Joseph from Team Path of Heaven signing off.